Days fans? Today I'm going to interview our own Princess Jasmine, aka Cherry, aka Gabby. It's for our 1 year anniversary and the 60th anniversary of Days of Our Lives. Hope you enjoy this interview.
For me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, perfect. Yes, I can. How are you, love?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've had a very busy morning with Phoenix. So,
Mm.
now I have to do the interview in my car, which is fine
Ah,
because they're still there. So, I get to be in air conditioning, I get to be in quiet and cozy.
that's cute. So let's start. What
Yeah,
inspired
of
you to
course.
become an actress, and how did you get into the acting world?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so well, I actually got into it by chance when I was little. At 8, my mom and I were walking through New York City, and a bunch of people would stop my mom and tell her that I should get into acting, that I should get into modeling. So I fell into it just by kind of just going on auditions. But really, where it changed and where I really wanted to be an actress was prior to that, I would do modeling jobs, I would do commercials, and we did a couple of films, and it was all fun. It was just a lot of fun. It was just something that I was drawn to naturally, that I really enjoyed. And then it wasn't until I went to Sundance Filmmakers Lab in Utah, that is where I really decided that I wanted to be an actor. And I was surrounded by so many talented people, and so many big actors, especially now. At the time, they weren't that known. And of course, a lot of them were, but that was where I really got like an insight into the world of acting. And I fell in love with it. And then I was like,
Uh,
okay, I think, no, I don't think, I was like, I know that this is what I want to do. But I was also 12, turning 13. So, I think there was a journey, which is so interesting because right as I decided that I wanted to be an actress and why I really felt like it was meant for me, I stopped acting for about
wow.
4 years because we moved from Manhattan. Oh, well, we moved from Brooklyn, excuse me, to Westchester. So I had to leave behind my auditions. I had to leave behind my performing arts school. I had to leave behind everything that I knew to go move to the suburbs and go to a real school, which is funny because I went to a performing arts school. So when I went to the performing arts school, which is the Fame School, there's a movie Fame. Um, that is about a performing arts school in New York City, and it's a great movie. And there's a couple of performing arts schools, but there's two specifically. There's LaGuardia, and there's the Professional Performing Arts School. I went to PPAS, which is the Professional Performing Arts School, and those two schools, I'd say, are what Fame is based on. So, like, LaGuardia argues that it's based on them, and then we argue that it's based on us, but it's basically both of us. So once I went to Westchester, I had to stop because I went to a school where they didn't allow me to audition. They were like, "What are you doing? This is school. You have to get your education." So I would have doctor's appointments, and I would go on some auditions here and there, but it wasn't sustainable. It just didn't make sense. So I pretty much kind of stopped, which I'm happy I did now in hindsight, looking back, because it allowed for me to really make sure that it was something that I wanted. Because to decide that you want to do something as a career at 12 years old, you're still so young. There's still so much life to live. And I'm not saying that you can't make that decision at 12 because I did make that decision. And I mean, look now, it's something that's still a part of my life. So I think deep down, I always knew that it was meant for me, but it wasn't until I got older when I was 18 that I was like, okay, this is something I want to do. And then I continued on that journey. And now here I am.
That's that's so cool. What is like the biggest lesson you've learned since you started acting?
To breathe. To breathe, to breathe, to breathe, to breathe. Which in life too, but really I'd say breathing just it's allowing myself to take a deep breath, to really center myself, to be present in the moment so that I can allow myself to give it my all in the moment in the scene and allow myself to make discoveries. I think for so long when I was auditioning, um and when I, did like a little guest star here, a co-star there, at the beginning, I didn't understand the importance of taking a breath before you started and how taking a breath centers you. And so, like, my heart would be beating fast and I'd be excited and nervous and all the things. And then I'd just go for it. And, sometimes my chest would be really tight. Like, I would have auditions. I remember in the past when we used to have them in person where breathing wasn't something that I was actually aware of how important it was. And so I would have done an audition and my chest would have been tight the entire time. My throat would be tight and I would be not really happy with the performance I gave because I'm like, oh, I just couldn't get like this tightness out of my chest. And I was just nervous and like I could have done better, but whatever, it is what it is. And now in hindsight, looking back, it's because I didn't take a deep breath. That's really all it is you just take that breath and you just and then magic happens. There's something really beautiful about it. And then also making sure that you are prepared and you know the dialogue inside and out so that when you step on set, you can throw it all away, let it go and play.
Thanks for that advice.
Yeah, 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 of course.
So, actually, now you are here like after 1 year playing Gabby Hernandez. So, how does it feel actually?
Oh my God, it feels amazing. I mean, and I know I've said this before and I'll say this again. Like I said, I've been there for a little over a year. Um and I love it. I consider Gabby a dream role. I love the character. I have so much fun with her, especially now that I've been there for some time and I've allowed myself to just kind of create a life within this character, because at the beginning I was like just tight and nervous. And also, it's a lot of pressure coming in as a recast. Being a recast is really tough. It's a wild thing having a role come into your life, especially as an actor. Booking something and being a working actor in itself is really difficult because you deal with so much rejection. So when you finally get told yes, and it's something that you love as well, it just makes it just such an incredible experience, feeling all the things. And so for me, Gabby is a dream role. I love playing Gabby. I have so much fun with her. And I feel like now there is no question that I am Gabby. I mean, now I've been there long enough where I step on set and, the directors, depending on what director you're working with, they will direct you in which way they want the scene to go. So, like, it's funny because outside of Gabby, I'm really sweet and really nice. And I'm nothing like Gabby in her personality and how mean she is. But so like I have to switch that when I step on set and remind myself to switch a little bit because, I'll step on set and I'll do a scene, and then I'll play it like a little softer and more like maybe like me, like a little more like Cherie. And then the director would be like, no, 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 Cherie. Remember, I want you to give it a little bit more spitefulness. Remember, Gabby will cut somebody. Gabby will kill somebody. And I'm like, uh-huh, uh-huh. So it's funny because that's all it takes is just a little switch of a moment for them to remind me of how Gabby can be to switch in that. But also what's really cool is that I feel like me as Cherie, because they've given me so much freedom to really, um, put a new spin on Gabby and change the character, which I know has been really tough for a lot of fans,
Yeah.
because they don't like that the character has changed. And in some ways, I understand that because it's a soap, and within a soap, with the way that the recast works, they want the recast to have elements of the previous person. But also when I came in, there were elements that I feel like I did bring to Gabby that maybe Camila had, but also her and I are two completely different people. So my interpretation and just how she played mean, she played mean from what I hear in a more funny way, in like a comedic way, like funny. I play mean. I play a bitch. Excuse my language, but like I don't play mean in a funny way. I play mean in like I will cut you. You know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like I think people are a little bit more scared of my Gabby, and maybe my Gabby is not so likable because of how mean I play it. But what's so interesting about that is that the directors love it. They love that I'm playing it like this because they kind of want this character to be feared and not necessarily liked when she's being mean. They want people to be like, "Oh, she's a straight up like hard like she can be really really evil." I guess in that sense. Now with that said, I also feel like the writers have written Gabby and have allowed for me to bring more humanity into her and a little bit of softness. And so I've been able to bring elements of who I am into Gabby, which is really awesome. Granted, I'm walking around pissed, and Gabby's been walking around very pissed for a while.
She
So
needs
it's
to
so
smile
funny because
more.
I'm like, I get it. I know you're always like, Gabby, smile. But like, they haven't given me anything to smile about. So how am I supposed to walk around smiling? And yes, I could add a comedic spin on it, but that's just not who I am in the sense of just me as an actor. So like it wouldn't feel authentic. You would just be like, oh, it's just fake. Now, with that said, as time goes on, with me as Gabby, I do start to bring some comedy into it, just of my personality. And also there are more reasons for me to smile coming up. And like Ari being here, I mean, she's driving me crazy and she's gonna keep driving me crazy, which as she should. Ari should give Gabby hell for all the years that Gabby hasn't been there. So it is warranted, but also there's a lot of reasons for me to be happy coming up. But like there's always, it's Salem. I
Yeah.
mean, just like when I get happy, something's gonna happen to piss me off again and make me sad or make me mad.
Do you have like a favorite outfit of Gabby?
Oh my God, all of them. But no, 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 maybe not all of them. Let's see. Favorite outfit of Gabby. I mean, there's been outfits that I've worn recently that I consider my favorite that I have not aired yet. Um, but I guess my favorite outfits and specifically would be the outfits that I wear when I'm in Gabby Chic's office. So like when I'm at work, um, because what happens is I get to work, and if I have a fitting that morning, they'll present me with like 8 different dresses or pants or skirts, and they'll be like, "Here you go," and I'm like, "Okay," and then I always base it on, well, am I going to be wearing a jacket over it? So like, are we, so like you're not going to really be able to see the dress, or am I going to be at home? Am I going to be at work? So when I'm in the Hernandez kitchen and I'm at home, and if I'm not going to Gabby Chic and I'm not doing work stuff, I'll usually go for like pants. I'll usually go for like jeans or like black leather pants with like a cute, pretty blouse or something like that. But when I'm in Gabby Chic, I will always wear a dress. I will always make sure that I wear a dress. But I say from what has aired of what my favorite is so far, um, I'd probably have to say the pink dress that I wore at the very beginning. Um, it was a guest dress and it was a pink, like very fitted long dress. It was when Rafe was in the hospital. It was when Rafe was in the hospital and Rafe woke up from his coma, and I went to go meet Jada, and we were both sitting in there while Rafe was up from his coma. And then I also had run into Ava outside of the Brady pub, and I told her
Oh
to
yeah,
get out of
yeah.
my
I remember.
face.
I remember.
After she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, take Stefan back." And I was like, "Get out of my face." Like, I don't have time for this. But that I'd say is my ultimate favorite. It was so pretty, and it fit like a glove. And I also got like a cute little purse. This like little mini purse that I got to wear with it that I absolutely loved. And then I also wore my mom's
Yeah.
necklace from it was like a tennis neck, like the diamond necklace. And then my hair and my makeup was really soft and pretty. So I'd say that that's my favorite one.
Ah.
Yeah.
Who should be Gabby's best friend?
Who would be Gabby's best friend?
Yes.
You know what? I just want Gabby to have I want Gabby to be friends with a lot of the girls in Salem, first of all. Like, because like I said before, when I came into Salem, I was so sad that Gabby didn't really have any friends, except for Jada, which I was really happy. So Gabby did have friends because Jada and Gabby have a really beautiful friendship. And I love that because every time that I work with Elia, she's so wonderful.
Oh yeah, she is.
Our scenes are so friendly. Like, we don't have any ill will towards each other. There's no backstabbing tendencies. There's nothing. It's like just very real, like truthful friendships where like we can be there for each other, you know? So I love that friendship, first of all. I love that they gave me a little bit of a friendship with Stephanie, which is exciting. So I was really happy that they didn't have Gabby sleep with Alex, because when Gabby and Alex went on the date, I was like, oh no. I was like, please don't have Gabby sleep with Alex, because I just started being friends with Stephanie. And look, if Gabby and Alex end up together in the future, that's fine, but don't have me be a homewrecker. So I was very happy in the direction that they went with that, because I love that we have like a little bit of a friendship there. I would like for them to grow that friendship. As long as they don't put me with Alex in the future, I think her and I could be cool, you know. We're we're
Yeah.
we're good, because you put a guy in the middle of it and then friendship is done. And then the other friendship that I would absolutely love, who I work with every once in a while, but they haven't really developed our friendship too much yet, but like we do have a friendship, which is really cool. Is Kat. I
Cat.
love Anna. Anna Lynn is wonderful. Her and I have become great friends outside of Salem, of course. And every time we see each other, she's just such a light. She's so sweet. She's so down to earth. She really is like a special person. And so I absolutely love her. So I would love for us to like have our friendship grow. And then there's another friendship which I can't speak about with another female that I end up having over time, which might be a surprise to some people, but it's a really cool one. And so that's a fun one too, because you put frenemies together, and you get a little friendship where like you don't trust each other, but like you're cool. So Gabby and girlfriends all day. I would love it. I will always welcome Gabby's girlfriends.
Yeah. Won't she ever hung out with her in real life?
With who?
Gabby.
Gabby? Would I hang out with her?
Yeah.
Yes, I actually would. I think Gabby would be a lot of fun to hang out with. Gabby's wild. Gabby, because outside of Gabby's life, I have a very simple life. I'm a mom. I go to the park, I play. I do, I'm literally just in play mode with him. And then I have my husband. We watch TV shows, we watch movies, we go to the park, we go take walks, we go to the zoo. I live a very simple life. So I would love to live vicariously through Gabby. And I would probably, she would be the friend that I would grab lunch with. And I would just have her tell me all her stories and just listen and be like, oh, that's wonderful, that's, oh my god, that's so crazy. And then I would give her advice, whether she takes it or not, although I think Gabby would take the advice. I think Gabby, when she has a good friend or somebody in her life that like she actually cares about, she listens to what they say. Now if she doesn't care, she doesn't give a damn, but it's also what's in it for Gabby. So I would just be a good friend for Gabby. And of course, I would definitely buy Gabby Chic's dresses. I mean, come on.
And what was it like working with Brandon?
Oh, Brandon. Amazing. I just saw him 2 nights ago at the Troubadour. They performed for the St. Jude.
Yeah.
Brandon's wonderful. I miss him so much. I loved working with him. He was my introduction into the world of daytime, into a soap and into Days of Our Lives. So, he was my first scene partner. He was he will always have such a special place in my heart because of just how he welcomed me into this world. And so I loved working with him. He's so talented. He always gave his all in every scene. I believe that he made me a better actor every time we worked together. So for me, that's incredible. For any actor, that's incredible. You always want a scene partner that is going to give you themselves completely so that you in turn can give yourself, and then you create magic. But I miss him. Stefan, the whole situation. It's like I said, I can't say what's happening with the storylines right now, but it's been a very interesting time for Gabby, especially because she doesn't know that she's still technically married to him. And so that's the crazy, yeah. So like as Gabby moves on with her love life, yeah, I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. There's a lot up in the air. But he's talented. I have so much love for him. I have so much respect for him. And of course, I pray that he comes back one day as Stefan. I think that would be just amazing. If or when they bring Stefan back, I don't necessarily know. The writers know what they're doing with all that. So we're going to let them do their part and then we'll see what happens. But Brandon is amazing, an incredible actor, and I miss him.
Did you know Stefan had a twin?
Yes, Jake. So every time I work with an actor, I always ask for backstory, and so I can learn more about Gabby. And backstory, in other words, like what is my relationship to your character? So like, how do Gabby and you know each other? Like, and it's so funny because I've learned a lot about Gabby through backstory because of people telling me different things about what Gabby did in the past, and I'm always like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Gabby's crazy. But specifically with Jake, he told me about that and their relationship, and then Jake's heart and Stefan's body, and Rolf bringing them all back. And honestly, it was so crazy because that was towards the beginning of me entering this world. And so now it doesn't phase me. Now I hear all the crazy things that go on in the soap world in Salem, and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. But at the beginning, I was like, hold on, what? Like, I was just so taken aback that I was like, okay, so now Stefan has Jake's heart, but Jake's heart came as twin. And then Gabby had a relationship, but then he had a relationship with Ava. And then Ava fell in love with him, but then he had a relationship with Gwen. Like, it was a whole thing that I was like, okay, okay, okay. So, yeah, like pretty wild. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a favorite scene of Gabby?
Favorite scene of Gabby? Yeah, it hasn't aired yet. It's hilarious. It's so funny. It's my well, I'll think of what has aired, but I do have a scene that I can't say. Well, I'll give you a little bit of a little thing. It's with Ari.
Oh,
Because Gabby's a funny mom. Gabby cares so much and she loves Ari so much, and she's trying to make up for lost time because she wasn't in Ari's life. But also, just on a side note, despite Ari not being there in Salem with Gabby, Gabby did go spend a lot of time with Ari. So I think a lot of people are not aware of how much time Gabby has actually spent with Ari. It was just done off camera. So that's number one, because I know a lot of people at the beginning were like, Gabby's a deadbeat mom. She hasn't been around for Ari. She needs to stop trying to take down Demira and stop sleeping around and actually be a present mom. And it's so funny because it makes me laugh. But like, I love it because I'm just like, you're right, you're right. But then what I found out is through just like the writers and the way that, they've kind of developed our relationship, is that Gabby was around. It just was never on camera. So Gabby making up for lost time is obviously in more of Gabby not really being present as much because she lived in a different, place than Ari. But Gabby was around. So I have a really funny scene coming up with her that just had us laughing hysterically, that I had to like keep it together because Gabby can be a little neurotic and a little crazy when it comes to Ari. And so of course she's overprotective, especially now that Ari sneaked out and caused all of that. So now Gabby's on high alert. And so Gabby's trying to be a cool mom and also wants to be Ari's best friend, but also is a little crazy. So we have a really funny scene coming up. When it comes up, I think you'll know what it is. But if you don't, I'll make sure to let you know so that that way you're aware because
Uh,
we all got a giggle out of it. Now, with that said, a favorite scene of Gabby's before before that has actually aired. Let's see. Ooh, that's a good question. Um, my God. I know. I had so much fun at the bachelorette party, at Elia's bachelorette party. I'd say that those are my favorite scenes as a whole because it brought some of well not all the women of Salem obviously, which it would have been even more amazing if they had literally all of us, but they can only fit so much of us in the kitchen, I mean in her living room and Stephanie's. But I'd say the bachelorette party, it was so much fun. We got to work with all the women and we got to just have fun and play like a little drunk and then play these games. So in between all of our actual scenes we were just laughing and running lines and just having so much fun. And I'd say that those are my favorite because it's Gabby just got to be a like again, Gabby and girlfriends. I just want Gabby to have girlfriends,
yeah.
because I'm a girl all day. So like for Gabby to have had that, I'd say that that was definitely like my fun, just loving it, amazing kind of thing. And then I also love I also love working with EJ, Dan. So honestly, a lot of scenes with him where I'm being a spiteful bitch. Because like Dan is so sweet and we get along so well. But again, he's somebody else that makes me laugh too. So I think we have just a really funny thing because when we step on set together, I have to be so I'm always reminded again now that I hate him, but then we slept together. So it's funny because we kind of have this like sexual tension always. We will always have that, which is why I think people loved us together so much, even though it was very quick. But I think why people loved us too is because our scene was so hot. Like we rush into the room. We hate each other. And then all of a sudden, I'm throwing him on the bed, ripping his shirt off. How could somebody not love that? Like it made for a very exciting, like, oh my God, I want more. And then they took it away and then they gave us nothing. So I'd say like scenes with him because I love him and we have a really awesome friendship. So we always laugh at the fact that I'm always, and also I think the funny thing about me and EJ, or get Gabby and EJ, is that Gabby gaslights EJ all the time. And I'm aware of it. She'll always be like, well, it's all your fault. And it's so funny because I'll get a script and I'll be like, no, Gabby, it's your fault. But like I said, I stay out of Gabby's way. Gabby does what she does, like I just don't question it. But I do at first always make a comment as Cherie and I go, oh, Gabby. All right, let's do this.
And what was it like working with Louise Sorel, Vivian Elamy?
Oh my God, amazing. She's a legend. She's an icon. She is so talented. It's funny because at the beginning I was nervous more for the sake of, and of course excited, nervous, excited, those are two on the one. So when I say I'm nervous, it's like I'm just so excited that I'm like, that at the beginning I was nervous in the sense of just like trying to adjust to this world, this whole new world of daytime as Gabby. Then the nerves just started to go away. And then I just started to kind of like, I became a pro and I was like, okay, here I am, do the scenes. But when I found out I was doing a scene with her, I got so excited and so nervous because I'm like, oh my God, I get to work with her. And like, what a fun scene because she really reads me for filth. She like, and so She did. She was because of our relationship, how much we say we hate each other. She was wonderful. I think it was she's a true actor in the sense of just her preparation and the way that she just is and the way that she delivers her lines and just how present she is that like you can feel that you're working with not just anybody, but you're working with somebody who has really put in the work and the time in this industry and has made a name for themselves. I mean, there's a reason that she is who she is. It's because she's constantly always putting forth just amazing work. Like she just is incredible. And so it was an honor to me to be able to work with her because, like I said, I mean, who would, I think that within the world of daytime, especially, everyone is talented. Everyone brings something special. This is also really hard work. This is unique. We do one rehearsal and one take. So that's it. Like, you get a second take if there's an airplane flying over and it's a technical difficulty, or like if you mess up on a line, which they're really cool with at the beginning. I didn't know if they were going to be like nice about it, but they're really wonderful. They're like, okay, it's okay. We can go again. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're all human. Everybody messes up. We make mistakes. But with her, it's just like it was amazing. I'm really grateful I got to share these scenes with her, and I look forward to working with her again.
Did you ever have the chance to meet Drake Hogestyn?
No, I didn't. But I'm going to tell you something really wild because, okay, so I did not have the opportunity to work with him. And of course, I'm bummed that I didn't, but also I feel honored to be on a show that he is and will always be a part of because who didn't know him growing up? At least for me, it was like you just knew Drake Hogestyn. He's also like a legend in this world. And when I started, I had all my scenes with Steph and Ava, and so I did not get to meet him. I did not get to see him on set. I became aware, that he was struggling with cancer and just what they were doing with his character because they had to make the decision to you know put his character to bed, and to go into the everything and just with everything that he was going through. So I always just felt the love that everyone had for him and the respect, and everyone always spoke so, and everyone speaks so highly of him. And so of course I was like, oh, like that would have been cool. And so then I did the pancreatic cancer walk, which for me, I always want to be a part of, giving back and charities. And so when Martha created the team, of course, I wasn't going to pass up the opportunity to be a part of that and to honor him, and also just to honor the show and to honor all of those that have gone through this terrible, terrible cancer. Um, and I met his daughters, and his daughters came up to me and they started talking to me, and they were so sweet, and they really got to know me, which is crazy because I didn't work with their dad. And, I mean, of course, I know just what an absolute amazing person he was based on just what everybody always said. But they spent the time to like talk to me and get to know me. And and to thank me for being there. And it was so sweet because I was like, wow, like that, that really meant a lot to me. So cut to, when it comes to making an Instagram post, I always want them to be very intentional. I can't just like write a caption and then post it. So I'm always late on posting stuff because I want to make sure that I write what I want to write, and I want it to be intentional, and I want it to mean something. And then, so what I do is the night before I post an Instagram post, I'll put the pictures, I'll brighten them up, like change the lighting a little bit, and then I'll write my caption out, and then I'm like, okay, I tag all the things. And so I made a post for Drake for the pancreatic cancer walk, and I was like, oh, let me put the pictures together and let me make a post. I really want to do this. I feel like this deserves a spot on my Instagram feed because of just how incredible this whole experience was and how honored I was to even be a part of it. And that night I go to bed and I have a dream, and what's so crazy about this dream is that I have the dream, and I'm going to tell you the dream. So I'm stepping off of set. I'm stepping off of set at work and I'm walking off at days. And I have my iPad in my hand, which is how I do my dialogue. So I have my iPad in my hand and I look over to my left and it's the set. It's like I don't know what set it is, but it's one of the sets on the stage. And there's a director's chair. And in the director's chair, Drake turns around and looks at me. And I said to him, "Oh, it was such an honor working with you. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much." And he looks at me and he says, "Thank you so much." He goes, "You are so talented. We are so lucky to have you with us." And oh my God, it's going to make me cry just thinking about it because it was such a crazy dream. And he said, "Thank you for caring about the show so much. I can really feel how much you love being a part of it." And I said, "I'm just so honored to be a part of Days." And then he smiled at me and he turned back around to look at the set and I just walked off and that's all I remember, right? So I woke up from the dream and I was like, whoa, that's so crazy. And what's crazy is that I had made that post the night before. I had made the caption to post it. And so in the morning, I go into my drafts and I click post and I post. So I post it and I'm just like thinking about this and I'm like, this is so crazy. So I have a best friend. Her name is Tasia. She makes jewelry and she makes bags and she's incredibly talented in that world. But she's also a medium. So she connects with people that have passed on. And so that's one of her gifts that she has. And so a long time ago, somebody visited me in my dreams that had passed on. And I thought that was weird because I had never had that happen before. And I know that she understands that world. So I talked to her about it and I said, "Hey, so this person is not here with us anymore, obviously. They've passed on. But in my dream, we had a conversation. What is that?" And apparently, when people visit you in their dreams that are not with us anymore, that have passed into the everything, it's called a visitation dream. So it means that their spirit, that their soul came to you in a dream and it's real. So, like, dreams, we have dreams and there we could have, like, we could dream about a bird walking and talking to us. And obviously, you can only interpret that so much because you're like, okay, well, birds can't talk, right? But when a person that has passed on, they visit you, it's a visitation. So, she basically was like, "He came to visit you in the dream." And it's so wild because I was like, well, why would he come to visit me? Like I didn't work with him. I didn't know him, but like I honored him. And so I was like, maybe it's because of the post. But then also what he said was so
Beautiful.
vivid still. It was so beautiful and it's so true because I do love Days. I'm so honored to be a part of Days and I express that every day. And every day I wake up and I thank God every time I walk into my dressing room, into my room. I'm just so happy to see my room. Every time I leave my room, like, okay, bye room, I'll see you after hiatus, I love you. Like I'm just like I walk around work and I'm just filled with so much gratitude. And I love my job and I love being a part of the show. And so I talked to a couple people at work about it, like my hair and makeup girl, Nicole and
Yeah,
Natalie.
Nicole.
And I was like, listen to this, like how crazy the dream I had. And it was so sweet because Nicole, my hair girl, goes, well, she goes, wow. She goes, what a dream. She goes, though, it makes sense that he would come and he would say that to you. He goes, because he really loved the show. And he was so honored to be a part of the show that he would have loved you. And like just how positive you are and like the light you bring to the show. She goes, because you love this. She goes, you've been here for over a year and you're not walking around going, okay, well, I'm missing out on other opportunities out there. And what am I doing here? Or like, I'm not happy with this. Like, I'm never not, like if I'm not happy, it's because I don't know, I'm dealing with something outside of work that has nothing to do with work. But work is my happy place and I feel grateful. And so it was so special because now, of course I like moved past that, and now anytime I see a picture of Drake or like a clip of Drake or something, I feel like in a way, even though I didn't get to work with him, and I didn't get to meet him, I somehow, by being a part of the show, have a special tie and a connection to him always. And by him visiting me in my dream, and we got to work together in my dream, which is crazy. Like it's such a special thing that for me, that's like, I don't know. I'm just like, oh wow, how special and beautiful is that? Crazy though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Drake.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Rest in peace.
And how does it feel to be working with Al?
Ah, love of my life. Al, Al. Al was meant to be in my life forever. Al is so special. We connected from day one. We have such a natural, beautiful chemistry. It's like we're actually cousins. It's like we're family. Obviously, we're family on the show and we're meant to be, but he's somebody that's going to be in my life forever that I truly consider family. I mean, we have so much fun on set. We laugh all the time. We are able to have really deep and open conversations. There's things that I talk to him about that I don't talk to anybody about, except for maybe like my best friend Tasia and then my girlfriend Marina back home, like there's just a natural, amazing chemistry that we have. And it's so funny because we do have a really beautiful chemistry. And every time we step on set, it doesn't feel like we're acting. It feels like we're just actually having a conversation. So over time, as you see us together, there's a lot that we've brought to our scenes that were not scripted. So any I love you, any little extra love things that we throw at each other are all us doing it. So like it wasn't written in there. We like change our lines and not change our lines because we're not going to change the writing, of course. But like we will always in the moment we will add a hug. We will add an I love you. We will add and I'm here for you. There's always something special that we add because it's so effortless. Like we are family. Yeah. Al and not only that, he's so talented and I feel like they've given him a really beautiful storyline as time goes on because I think a lot of people at the beginning when he first came to Salem were like, oh god, is he a troublemaker, is he a bad person, like I don't trust him, I don't trust Javi, there's something up with him. No, he's actually like a good person. He's like a great character in the sense of like he's not out to backstab anyone or to do anyone wrong. He just wants what's best for everyone around him and he's a good person. I mean, maybe not the best assistant, but but like, he's family, so.
I was actually hoping that Harvey was going to be a villain.
Oh, no, 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 no. Everyone else, no. We gotta leave the villain to other people. We can't. I mean, look, maybe there's villainous things that people might not agree with and choices, but like overall, what I can say is that he's one of the good ones. So then it makes for better story because then everybody else around him can be the villain. And then, I mean, also he's in the Hernandez family. So we can leave the villain to me, maybe, like maybe it's Gabby, like, and also Gabby needs somebody to put her in check and to like bring her back down. And Al does that. Javi does that for Gabby. When Gabby's acting erratic or crazy, he'll bring her back down and kind of just like center her and be like, what's wrong? So even though they're arguing and they have their things, Gabby's under a lot of stress. Like everybody needs to remember, like, yes, Gabby's losing her cool. Gabby's being a little bit of a bitch, maybe a lot of a bitch. Gabby's special. But like, Gabby just needs like love. Gabby just wants love. Gabby just needs somebody to shower her with love. And Gabby needs her daughter. She has her daughter. She knows she needs her business to thrive. And Gabby will be happy.
And how do you like to work with Galen?
Ah, love. Love. Galen is so funny. He's so funny. He's so funny that every time we work together, again, somebody else that I feel like we have a really beautiful natural chemistry with. Our scenes are always just very connected, very present. And I really love that we have such a special brother sister relationship bond. I think we kind of look alike a little bit too, which is funny because like sometimes when we take pictures and I'm like, oh my God, we do look like we could be brother and sister. Um, but he's wonderful. He's been in this world for so long. And it's so funny because I loved Passions. So I watched Days of Our Lives and General Hospital here and there, but not the way I watched Passions. Passions, I watched every single day. Um, And so I was into Passions. Like I was so into it that he was on it, Eric was on it, and then Lindsay Hartley, which is so funny because Lindsay is Ariana, Gabby's sister. And so I've been asked, like, would you love? And I was like, I would love to work with her. I mean, it's not like people can't come back from the dead, number one. You know, it happens all the time. I don't know what that world is, if that's something that they would ever consider. But so it's funny because I grew up on him and loved him. So it's a wild thing to grow up on somebody and then all of a sudden be working with them. But he's incredibly talented. He's so sweet. He's so funny. He's always cracking jokes. And I like, he's somebody else too that I feel like I can have really open and honest conversations with. We've gotten to know each other really well. I finally met his wife at the St. Jude fundraiser, so that was really great. And then I met one of his sons. I know he's got two. And so I just feel really lucky to be able to have such an incredible family on set and to have that experience of like our family growing and also really feeling like connected and feeling like it is family. So again, it makes for really great scenes and like really great chemistry every time I step on set. Or like if I'm not working with Galen, you know, and I find out that he's going to be there on set, I always pop into his room and I'm like, I miss you. Why like why don't we have a scene together? It's been a week. What the hell? We got to talk to these writers. Put us back in. But yeah, I love working with him too. He's wonderful.
And how is it to be like to be working with Marissa?
Ugh, Marissa. I love her. Again, I can't say. I mean, it's possibly when you run down the list of the Hernandez family, I'm basically going to have this to say the same things about each of them. Marissa is an incredibly special one, though. Obviously, Galen and Al, I love them, and how beautiful it has been to have a family on this show and to grow with our relationships. But Marissa. First of all, not only is she stunning, she's incredibly talented. She's so talented. She was 20 when she booked the show, and now she's 21. And so to have seen her grow as a young woman, to see her grow in this role from the first day that I met her, from the first conversation we had to just now, I'm so proud. I feel so lucky to have her enter the family. You know, I posted the picture that I was finally able to post from the 60th anniversary photo shoot because we weren't able to post anything because Marissa was in the photo and she hadn't been announced. So everybody was posting their pictures from behind the scenes and I couldn't post mine. And I was like, on the day that she gets announced and the day that she posts or that she's on the show, I'm going to post her. So that is my favorite picture of all time. I actually ended up getting it framed. Hopefully, I'll give Al his before this comes out because he doesn't know yet. But I have one for him too. I got one for me so that we can all have that picture forever of the Hernandez family. I feel like once she came into the picture, everything was complete for me. I mean, of course, there's Gabby's brother, there's Gabby's dad, you know, there's other family members that exist within the Hernandez family, right? But for what this is right now, for the core family of Galen, Al, and Marissa, this is everything I need. That's it. I don't need anything else. Like, you don't even need to give me a love interest. Just give me my family and give me my daughter. I'm so happy. She's been amazing. Again, we've had such a beautiful mother-daughter chemistry since day one. Now, the funny thing is that, and I've seen it written everywhere. I've seen people tag me to it. I see it pop up. We don't look like mother and daughter, right? So let's just start there in the sense of how young I look. And not that we don't look alike, because we do in this, in like certain features. Obviously, that's pretty tough to find somebody to look exactly like somebody and have them be a really good actor. So I think that sometimes I'm like, oh, we have like, we look like we could be sisters. Now for the age thing, I'm going to address this because it has been such a conversation.
Yeah.
This is a soap opera. People need to suspend their belief and then just let it go and exist within this world. Now, with that said, I'm going to be 38 in a couple of weeks, which is crazy to me. Which I love, getting older because I'm a woman and I'm coming more into myself as a woman, but I look young. Like, I don't know. I just do. So what Marnie, the casting director, said, which was funny, she said, it's impossible to age you, Cherie. It doesn't matter. They wanted to age Ari to be 18 for the sake of storylines to create more stories. Because if they bring her in as 15, 16, they can't really do much with her except maybe make her a rebellious teen. But they can't really give her a love interest. They can't really give her too crazy of storylines. Like, yes, they can, but they also have to be very careful because, mind you, a young woman under 18 is a minor still. So there's certain storylines that you can't explore with somebody under that age. Obviously you have the young kids like Rachel and all of them, and they have their storylines and they have their drama, but it's only once they're older that you can start to explore love and backstabbing and, like, I don't know, murder, kidnappings, or whatever it all is. So it's a little bit more accepted in that sense, and so they wanted to age her, which is perfectly fine. Now with that said, when Marissa was brought in, Marnie only brought Marissa in. There was no other girl. Marissa was the only one. No
Oh,
one compared.
wow.
So for a screen test, usually they bring in like anywhere from 4 to 6 people. And then they have you read with them and blah blah blah. And they're like, okay, let's see, is this one it? Is this one, like they just know who's the one. With her, she was the one from the beginning. So when Marnie first introduced me to her, it was so funny because I wasn't wearing makeup yet. And like when I'm not wearing makeup and I'm like just casually hanging out, I look like I'm maybe 25 or something like that. So I saw her and I was like, oh God, it's so nice to meet you. And Marnie was like, so this is gonna be possibly Ari. And I was like, oh my God, you're bringing Ari in? I was so happy and I wasn't allowed to tell anyone because she hadn't started yet. But she took a picture of us and she goes, oh my God, Cherie, you look so young. And I was like, I know. But you know what? I think that in the way that we carry ourselves, like, because even though I look young, I carry myself as a woman. Marissa carries herself like a young woman, very youthful, because she still is young at the end of the day. And so I think that that's where our dynamic is going to play out, is going to be in how we carry ourselves. Because my dialogue and her dialogue. Also, they do tone down the makeup on her to make her look a little younger because at the beginning, when she first arrived, I mean, her makeup is gorgeous. She's gorgeous no matter what. But they did her makeup and I thought it was fine. I didn't think anything of it. But apparently, they said that because they toned down my makeup. So, like, my makeup isn't as crazy as it used to be at the beginning. It's very subtle now, where I have certain things that pop because that was my request. I wanted to have it be more natural. And so Marissa, they brought her in, did her makeup, and in turn, she looked older than me only because of the makeup. And then also, I just look young. There's no way around that. It just is what it is. So I think the fans have to suspend their belief and just enjoy the ride and just let it play out and really enjoy the relationship between Gabby and Ari as mother and daughter. And also, Gabby had her when she was a teenager. Marissa and I are 17 years apart. So let's say even if Marissa was playing 17, which she is turning 18, this is exactly the age that we are. This is what it looks like. It just doesn't, people just don't understand because I look so young. So that's why. But like, I just, this is just what it is. So let that go, let it be, and allow yourselves to enjoy the relationship of mother and daughter, and the beautiful relationship at that. I think they did such a beautiful job with writing us. And again, every time I step on set with her, it's just so effortless. She's so talented and I love working with her. And we've developed such a special bond. I love her always and forever. She will always be my Ari and just always be my special. Just like, I mean, she's my first TV daughter. So, because I have a son, I have Phoenix. And so I don't want any more kids. I'm happy with my one kid. I'm very, very happy. And so I feel like this is a gift from the universe of me being able to have a daughter and have it play out on the show as if I had a daughter. And so I really cherish her, and she's amazing and she's so talented, and I'm just so excited for what her future holds because she's amazing.
Yeah, y'all are doing a great job actually.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I'm excited for our scenes to play out, and I'm excited for the funny scene to play. The one that made us laugh hysterically, where I was like, oh, Gabby's crazy.
So how did
Gabby's a
you?
little bit of a crazy mom.
So how did you meet your husband Sean?
How did I meet Sean? uh, we met at the back alley of Bootsy's at 2 a.m. on a Friday night. Booties is a club. No, 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 no. Well, that's a funny thing I say because we kind of did, but really we met at Hyde. That was, which is another club, but it was closed down for my friend's 40th birthday. And so he happened to be there because he found out that I was going to be there. And we had met a couple of nights before, but I didn't really pay attention to him and didn't really like, I wasn't trying to date. So I had no desire to even get to know him, to talk to him, nothing. I was just with my friends having a good night. And yeah, I met him at Hyde, and I went over and I saw him from across the room, and I was like, he's so cute. Who's that guy? I walked over by him and he was like, hey buddy. It turns out he's the guy that I had met a couple of nights prior that I completely ignored, that I didn't really even remember meeting, pay attention to, nothing. And we got to know each other, and it's so funny because we dated for 8 months in an open relationship, which is a crazy thing. When I say that to people, they're like, what? And I'm like, well, I wasn't interested in dating anyone or being serious with anyone. And so he dated other people. I dated other people too. We just kind of, did our own thing, but then dated each other. And every time we hung out, we just always had a really cool friendship, and we got along really well. We had a lot of fun. And after 8 months, he ended things with me, and ended things, and like, even though we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, he was just like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, do what? Like, we had a great thing. I never asked him to be his girlfriend, nothing. I was actually enjoying the 8 months that we were in an open relationship because I didn't have the pressure of like caring too much, like when I wasn't with him, I was with my friends, or I was working, or I was going on dates with other guys. So it never like actually allowed for me to like see how much I cared about him. And then when he ended things with me, that was when I was like, oh, I really like him, like a lot, a lot. Because it was the first time that I stepped outside of myself, and got to really see and feel how I felt about it. And so we, after that ended things. And then a week later, um, ended up at this ayahuasca ceremony together, which was my first one. And by the end of the weekend, I accepted us not being together. And I was like, we can be friends. Like you and I, we're cool. I'm okay with this. Like, I don't, like, I don't want any hard feelings. And then he told me he was in love with me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I had just booked, yeah, I was like, I didn't expect that. I was like, we're cool. You and I are friends, like, and when he said, I love you, I was like, I love you too, man. Like, I thought he was saying it like, because 8 months, when you get to know somebody for 8 months, you develop a love for each other. And like, it doesn't need to be like, I'm in love with you, but like you develop just like you care about that person, you really are invested. And so, I took those 3 weeks because I had booked a reoccurring on a show called Banshee, which has a special place in my heart just because of the person behind it and just the journey that it took to get there. But I took those 3 weeks and I said, well, I'm going to go to Pittsburgh. And when I get back from Pittsburgh, if it's meant to be, we can start over and we can enter a relationship. And if not, then we can be friends. Because immediately when he said, I love you and all that, I didn't immediately jump at it by being like, oh my God, I love you too. I couldn't wait for you to say that. It wasn't like that. I was like, whoa, 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 buddy. You just ended this a week ago and now all of a sudden you're in love with me. Like, what? You know, like, let's slow down for a moment. And also, I wanted to see how I felt because I didn't want to just like bow down and be like, oh my God, this is all I've been waiting for. Yes, I want to be with you. I was like, do I actually want to be with this person? Is this something that I want? Is this something I want for myself? Am I ready to get into a relationship? So, what was sweet was that I went to Pittsburgh and he checked on me almost every day. So I think he wasn't going to let me go. He was like, oh, no, no, no. I'm not going to let her go away for 3 weeks and forget me. I'm going to make sure that she comes back and we get into this. So I came back and we decided to give it a try. And yeah, now we've been together for a little bit over 10 years. And yeah, it's wild, you know, like, and now we have Phoenix, and Phoenix is the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I mean, that right there is my everything. I love being a mother. I love being his mother. And so I'm just, you know, I'm just living in gratitude and kind of seeing where life takes me from here on out.
Also, you told me Phoenix was born in your house.
Yes, I had a home birth. It was planned. A lot of people are like, "Oh no, did you not make it to the hospital?" And I was like, "No, no, no, I planned it." So when I got pregnant, I'm um I'm into a very holistic approach of life. Now, that's not to say that I don't take medicine here and there, but not really. If I have like instead of taking antibiotics or instead of like taking medicine, I will always look into a holistic approach on how to heal myself. So that's kind of just where I'm at in life. And so because of that, when I got pregnant, I started to look into holistic approaches on how to nourish myself, how to take care of myself as a pregnant woman. And in turn, I ended up getting this book that was basically like a holistic approach to motherhood. And within this book, you go through every week of your pregnancy, and it kind of just gives you a lowdown of superfoods to start adding into your life, of like yoga poses to do, you know, just like meditating, all these things. And then came a section about births. And it was like, okay, well, a traditional approach is having a baby in a hospital. And I was like, yeah, isn't that how it's supposed to be? And then it said, but um, there are at home births, there are birthing centers. And I was like, huh, I was like an at home birth and a birthing center, something I never thought about. So it basically it educates you on it. And something about the home birth, especially with the house that or the home that the townhouse that we lived at the time, we had an upstairs, downstairs, we had a whole bunch of rooms. We had a room that was dedicated to a meditation room. Literally, it was a meditation room. That's how many rooms we had in this place. And it was where we would go and we would meditate and we would sit and we would just be with ourselves. I would cry, I would breathe, I would just do, you know, just like to go be and do the work. And so I said to Sean, I go, I know this sounds crazy, but I think I want to do a home birth. And I feel like the meditation room is the perfect place to do like a to put like a bathtub in, you know, and do a birth there. And he said, sure, if that's what you want, then I'm down. And I said, all right, hell yeah. You know, because like that's a crazy thing to say because at the end of the day, a lot of people look at it as, well, you're putting your baby at risk. And what if something happens and blah, blah, blah. With that said, I made sure to take every precaution necessary. So we found a midwife who was the one who was going to do our home birth. And I educated myself on everything that had to do with a home birth, took birthing classes, and also we had the nearest hospital. So in case anything happened, they already had my information. They already had everything. And we were to go to that hospital, which was 10 minutes away if something went wrong. So I never put myself or Phoenix or anything in danger because I did have the hospital as a backup if we needed it. So that's something important that I think that, you know, is something that is important to know with a home birth because a lot of people will look down on it. And even my girlfriends back home in New York, they didn't look down on it, but they were like, Cherie, what are you doing? You want to give yourself a chance for an epidural. You don't know how painful it is. You're going to want it. And I go, no, I don't want to do an epidural. I want to do it naturally. And so I'm just going to try and see what happens, you know, like why not? And so I heard too that in a the warm water in a birthing tub acts as an epidural. So like when you're in pain and you're going through it, your body in the warm water will soothe. And so what's crazy is that when I went into labor, I went into labor the day before Sean's 40th birthday. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, how cool would it be if he was born on his birthday?" And I go, "No, it wouldn't be." I didn't want that. I was like, I don't want them to have the same birthday. I want them to have a separate birthday. So I'm happy that it worked out the way it did, because even if it was the same birthday, it would have been fine. But I basically started going into labor that morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I looked at Sean in bed because I had already kind of been going through it and things happened. And I was like, "Hey." And I very calmly, he woke up. He's like, "Hey." And I was like, "So I just went into labor. I'm going to have a baby. I just wanted to let you know, but I just wanted to let you sleep for a little bit. So just so you know." And he was like, "What?" So he woke up, and I also had a surprise birthday party that I was going to throw for him with all his friends that next day. So I was like, "You can text your friends and cancel it. Surprise." Like, you're not having it anymore. And I thought that I was going to have time to like do my yoga poses, eat some snacks, and stretch because of the way that I looked up labor and the way it goes. Instead, I didn't have any time for any of that. I just went into labor and I went full force. I was able to be in the bathtub with Sean, and the water soothed. It was the most pain free I felt was in the warm water. It really did help. It helped so much because whew, having a baby is intense. Oh my God. I mean, after doing that, I can do anything. I remember I was on set one day and they asked me if I had, we were doing a stunt with Julie when like goes to stab me and I take the knife out of her hand and she throws me on the ground and blah, 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 and hits me over the head. I had to do stunts. And he was like, "Is there anything I should know about? Any trauma that you've gone through in your body, anything?" And I was like, "No, I just gave birth to a baby, but I'm pretty good other than that." Like I'm like pretty tough. So I feel like I can handle anything after giving birth. But yeah, we ended up actually having the baby upstairs in the bed because of the way that Phoenix was positioned. In the tub, it wasn't possible to birth him in the position that I was in. So we had to change positions. And so we went upstairs to the bed. I gave birth to him. And yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful that everything went beautifully, that nothing happened for us to have to go to the hospital, because that's a scary thing. You never know. But it was a beautiful experience. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Oh my god. Crazy.
Yeah, like having a home birth, like specifically, because I know that people that have had hospital births, a lot of them end up in C-sections, and a lot of them end up and again, there's nothing wrong with however you birth a baby, whether it's a C-section, whether it's an epidural, whatever it all is, you are still birthing your baby. It is still all in the same, we're all mothers at the end of the day. But I'm just grateful that I was able to have a home birth.
And do you have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I'd say my favorite movie is The Godfather. As far as a cinematic masterpiece, the work, the actors, every detail, everything about The Godfather is truly just, it's one of those movies, and it's so long that I can just get lost in. And that I'd say is my number one, The Godfather. And then I have a couple of other favorites that thrown in there that are all random. I love Baz Luhrmann. I love his style of shooting. I think he's a really cool director, really cool stories, really unique ways of filming. And so Baz Luhrmann is Romeo and Juliet with Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio. Like that style of shooting. It's also the Elvis movie that he did with Austin Butler, The Great Gatsby with Leo. Like he's a director I would love to work with one day. I really love his style so much. It's really unique. And then I mean, I love Goodfellas. I guess I love my mob movies, because it's probably the Italian in me. I definitely love a good mob movie. I'm a hopeless romantic as well. I love poetry, so I love love. I love like a romantic movie that just has like the where like the chemistry. It's so funny. I've seen like a lot of chemistry. I love when two actors have such great chemistry that you believe that they're falling in love, or you believe that they should be together. So, I love that. I used to love horror movies, which is so funny. Now I can't really watch them anymore.
Why not?
Um, I don't know. I don't know. If something like I don't know, they kind of give me anxiety. It's a little too dark. I don't like dark stuff, you know? Like I used to love the like super scary, dark, crazy stuff. Or, you know, just like I love for me horror movies. I like the horror movies that could come true. So like the ghosts and stuff, that's like good, you know, or not that ghosts aren't real, but you know, like zombies and all that, like that's fine. But I love like a really good horror movie that like almost seems like it could be real. Those scare those scare the hell out of me. Those are where I'm like, you know, like The Strangers. That movie messed me up. I was like, I'm never answering the door for anybody. First of all, I don't care. You can leave me a message. You can come back. If I don't know you're coming, the door is not going to be opened. I don't care. I've already seen that movie. But as I got older, I don't know. I think personally, to be honest with you, as I started doing a lot of inner spiritual work, and really getting closer to God, because I grew up Catholic and that was intense to a point. And then I kind of just like started things happen in my life and my relationship with God and all of that just wasn't there for a while because I started going through a lot of difficult stuff and I really started to question just, you know, God, and just started to question all of that. And then I went on a spiritual journey and I started to really find myself and I started to work on myself. And as I started to do that and my relationship and my understanding of what God is became more clear and beautiful, I started to kind of just drift away from the dark stuff. And so the dark stuff is like the movies that have like the darkness and the scary stuff. And so now if I watch something that's like super dark, like my husband was watching I guess, well, Dune is a great movie. Dune is amazing. That's not, but he was watching, I guess they created a TV show for Dune, like a TV show. And he was like, and he loved the movie. So he was like, oh, let's watch a TV show. And I was like, okay, yeah, watch it. Like, why not? The movie was amazing. Both movies are amazing. And it was so dark and it's really good, but it was so dark and just like, I don't know. I was like, I think you can watch this without me. I don't like this. This is giving me too much anxiety. So, you know, I think too, stepping away from that, also with auditions, I won't audition for anything dark. Anything that has witchcraft, anything that has the devil in it, I want nothing to do with that. So, you know, horror movies I loved growing up and they're, you know, they were great, but not anymore. So I like to laugh. I like drama, I like to laugh, and I love romance.
How about science fiction?
I like science fiction too, actually. You know, it's funny. Sean is a huge science fiction fan, so he's the one that'll get me into the science fiction movies. He'll be like, "Let's them watch this," and I think it's fun to suspend belief and like really enjoy the fantasy of it all. So I do like science fiction. I guess it just has to be, you know, like Sean will be the one to introduce me to them because for me, I'm so busy that I don't really like. And it's funny, as an actor, I don't really watch a lot of movies or a lot of TV shows. I'm very specific when I do watch them, especially since I'm booking days because I'm so busy. I have so much dialogue to learn. So on my hiatus weeks, we can watch something at the beginning of hiatus. And then once hiatus enters like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like Sunday, I have to lock it up. And maybe I'll watch it. Like last night, we started watching Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV because my dear friend Jonathan Tropper, who created Banshee and a bunch of other amazing things, he created the show. So I've been wanting to watch it, and I started. It's really great. It's a good one. So he's the fantasy dude, but I'm always open for a good fantasy movie. So if you ever have any suggestions of any that you like that I haven't watched, please send them my way. I'm sure Sean would love them, and then I'll watch them with him.
I hope you watched Back to the Future because that's my favorite.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, Back to the Future, I mean, who well, I guess who hasn't watched Back to the Future? And if they haven't, then they should. But Back to the Future is amazing. It's so good. Also, like, it's a movie that's so ahead of its time. Like for a movie like that at that time for to come out is a great one.
Also, Rocky.
Rocky, yeah, Rocky's a great movie. Yeah, it is. And I love inspiring movies, or like movies that inspire you, of people overcoming challenges and overcoming like the depths of despair and like the, you know, being rising up. I love that. And I love true stories. I love true stories. I love a really well done true story.
Dool some a lot of movies too.
Yeah.
Also, okay. Thank you for joining me, and
Oh my God, of course. Thank you. I'm so happy to have, like, I know not meet in person, but I feel like
yeah,
this is meeting in person. I just want to thank you for all of the love that you show me. You have been so gracious, so kind, and so welcoming to me from the beginning, and I really appreciate that. You have such a beautiful heart, and so thank you
thank you,
for always, always, always being so wonderful and always supporting. It means a lot to me. I have a special place of you in my heart.
thank you, and thank you for joining my interview, and
I know this is so exciting and congratulations for putting this together.
thank you. I was a little bit scared of in the beginning, but yeah,
Yeah, but
it
then you
happens.
loosened up. Yeah. That's like me at the beginning with like my interviews. When I first started doing interviews, with being on days, I was like, oh my God, how do I do this? How do I talk? What do I say? And now I'm like, you just like, you just take a deep breath and all is good.
Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you. You too, love. We'll talk soon, I'm sure. We'll probably talk later. Mwah. Love,
Bye.
love, 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 love you. Okay. Bye, babe.
Bye.